All right, we're back with section, I want to say it's 6.5, part 2. Just sneaking this into my lunch here for the second part of this. And we're going to continue on taking information that's provided to us, using it to write an equation in slope-intercept form, and then changing the form of that equation to standard form, as was discussed in the earlier video. So here they're just giving us that the slope is equal to 3 over 2, and that the point that this line is going to pass through is 5, -8. So as I mentioned before, in the videos you're going to see that accompany the book, they're going to show you the point slope form. I think myself it's easier to use the slope-intercept form. So although on this one this isn't going to be quite as nice as I would hope. So we're going to have y equals the slope times x plus b. Well, when they give me this here, they give me m, they give me x, they give me y. So y from this is -8. M is going to be equal to 3 over 2. The value of x is going to be 5, and it's the value of b that we're looking for at this point. So we're going to try to find what that value is. So for this one, I'm going to recommend you use a calculator to handle this and use this. So I'm not going to show all the steps to working with fractions and everything, since the calculator will do this for you. So we're going to have -8, 3 over 2 times 5. You may write this as 5 over 1. That's going to give you 15 over 2 plus b. So we want to get b by itself here. In order to do that, we need to take this 15 over 2, and we need to make it -15 over 2 minus 8. That's going to equal b. And guys, I just realized here that I'm kind of far away from this work here, so I'm going to go ahead and move that up and close in a little bit here for the video. Okay. Well, at that point, once I have that, you should be able to do this on your calculator and make sure that the answer is going to be in the form of a fraction. Although you don't necessarily have to have it in the form of a fraction, but it's easier to eventually convert this into standard form. So if we do that, when we combine this all together, this is going to give us -31 over 2 equals b. As I mentioned, because your calculators can handle this without having to find any common denominators, I'm just kind of giving the result here. So when you write the equation of this line, which I'll do up here, we're going to have y equals 3 over 2 x minus 31 over 2. So that's not a very nice looking form of the equation written in slope-intercept form. So what we're going to do in order to make this a little nicer so that we can convert it from slope-intercept to standard form is we're going to get rid of the fractions, and we're going to do that first. You would have to do this anyway in order to write this in standard form, because the A, the B, and the C, all those capital letters, these need to all be integers. So we can't have any fractions. So at this point, because I have a 2 here and a 2 here, I'm going to multiply everything on the inside by 2, including y. So when I multiply 2 times y, that's just going to give me 2y. When I multiply 3/2 x times 2, the 2's cancel, just leaving me with 3x. And when I multiply 2 times -31 over 2, that leaves me with minus 31. From this point here, remember, what do you always want to do? You want to move the x over. That's the one thing you're always going to have to do when you're converting between slope-intercept and standard form. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 3x. That will give me -3x plus 2y equals -31. And at least up here, from what I have in the questions here, if you take a look at this, and you look at the 4 choices now, compared to what we have here, and what our 4 choices are, let's see if I can move that up a bit, it doesn't appear that any of the 3x's are negative now. So in order to get the corresponding answer, we're now going to multiply this whole thing through by -1. Once we do that, that should give us 3x minus 2y equals 31. And if we're looking at here, that looks like that's going to be choice A, which is the choice that we would be looking for. So that's how we handle a question like number 6. As you can see, yes, it's a fair amount of work. So just make sure to plan some time accordingly when you're doing these problems here. If you thought 6 was work, wait till you get a load of number 7. Okay? This kind of takes it a step further. Because what they do in this question is they say find the equation of a line passing through the pair of points, and then write the equation in the form of ax plus by equals c. Here they're providing 2 points, but what they're not giving us, the slope. However, they're not giving us the y-intercept either. However, we can find the slope by using the slope formula we learned about in one of the previous sections. I'm going to label negative 2x1, 9y1, negative 3x2, and then negative 5y2. My slope formula now is going to be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. I'm now going to go ahead and plug these values in from here. So we know y2 is negative 5. And I'll create my space to plug everything in. Y1 is going to be 9. X2 is negative 3, and X1 is negative 2. So you put this on a calculator, you should get on top negative 14. Negative 3 minus negative 2 is like negative 3 plus 2, so this will be negative 1. So that's going to give me a slope of 14. That is a big slope, ladies and gentlemen. But at least we now have what the slope is. So let's go and put that over to the side here. So we have m is equal to 14. Well, now that we know 14, we can pick any one of the 2 points that we want that we're going to sub in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this first one here. So I'm going to let x equal negative 2 and then y equal 9. And I'm going to put this information now into the slope-intercept form of the equation. And let's see what we get. We have y equals 9. We have m equals 14. We have x equals negative 2. And now, remember, we're trying to find b. So we're trying to find the equation of this line in a slope-intercept form. So let's give me 9 is equal to negative 28 plus b. And then if I go ahead and I add 28, or move it to the other side, we should get b is equal to 37. So now we know what b is for this line. I just want to take a quick look at the answers. Yeah, so these numbers are fairly big. So what we're going to get for the equation of this line in slope-intercept form is going to be y equals 14x plus 37. There's the slope, there is the y-intercept. So now if you want to put this into slope-intercept, or excuse me, not slope-intercept form, it is in slope-intercept form. If you want to put it in point-slope form, remember, we need to move the x over. So if I subtract 14x from both sides, I'm going to get negative 14x plus y equals 37. And do they have the first term negative as a choice? They do. So that would not be how I would show up, but they do have negative 14x plus y equals 37. So be careful not to confuse these. That's going to be choice B. And that's going to be our final answer there. So sometimes you may have to use the slope formula to get the slope. Use that information then to put it into the slope-intercept form of the equation to find the value of b. Write out the equation in the slope-intercept form, and then always remember to move the x as a necessary step in order to put that equation in standard form, as they call it, as we now have this in. ax plus by, where b is going to be 1, is equal to c. By the way, the capital B you see in standard form is not the same as the y-intercept that you see when the equation is written in slope-intercept form. Okay, let's go ahead. You want me to try another question for number 9 here. They give you another pair of points to consider to try writing this. So if you want to pause the video and try to do what I did in the previous one, you may go ahead and do that. Okay, either you are still watching or you're coming back from pausing the video. We're going to go ahead and label these coordinates x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm going to find the slope of the line passing through these 2 points like I did the last time. I'm not going to bother writing the slope formula down again, but I am going to create the place to do the substitutions. So I know that y2 is negative 4, y1 is 6, x2 is negative 4, x1 is 5. So here we have negative 4 minus 6 is negative 10. Negative 4 minus 5 is going to be negative 9. That's going to give us a slope of 10 over 9. So looking at this, yeah, that looks about right. We're going to just have a not exceedingly friendly slope kind of problem to work with here. But it is what it is, and I'm just reviewing my calculations quickly here to make sure that I've done everything correctly. And it looks like it did. So now I have m is equal to 10 over 9. And I can choose whatever value of x and y I want. I can either pick the first one, or I can pick the second one. Since these are both positive, I'm going to go ahead and let x equal 5, and I'll let y equal 6. And I'm going to put these values in here now. Okay? So now I'm going to have y equals, I'm going to write down this for the formula for slope-intercept form. So y is 6, m is 10 over 9, x is going to be 5 plus b. And let's see here, just double checking my work again, okay. So when I do this all together, this is going to give me 6 is equal to 50 over 9 plus b. Now let me see, you can still see that there, but I move this up a little bit over the problem. So if I subtract this, I'm going to get negative 50 over 9 plus 6 is equal to b. And what this is going to work out to be, if you do this on the calculator, this will work out to be 4 over 9 is equal to b. And again, guys, do this on your calculator, and if you get an answer that's a decimal, you should have a button that appears in there, how to convert a decimal to a fraction. And every calculator works a little differently in this way, but your calculator should be able to handle that. So now I know b is equal to 4 over 9. Now that I have the slope, and now that I have the y-intercept, I can now write the equation in slope-intercept form as, y equals, make sure you can all see that, yes you can, is going to equal 10 divided by 9x plus 4 over 9. Well, if I'm going to make this into standard form now, I need to get rid of the fractions, which means I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to multiply everything through by 9. So for that then we're going to get 9y is equal to 10x plus 4. And it looks like, yep, that looks like that's about the answer we're going to get. And just remember one more thing. Once we get rid of the fractions, we need to move the x over to the other side. So I'll write that as negative 10x plus 9y is equal to 4. And let's see if we have a choice that aligns with that. Indeed we do. And it looks like it's going to be choice C. Negative 10x plus 9y equals 4. So that looks like our choice for answer to question 8. Let's take a look at question 9 and see how this kind of maps out. Okay. So this one kind of ties into other things we learned before. We want the equation of a vertical line that passes through the point negative 2, 2. Let's just kind of draw a quick illustration of what that looks like here. So here is the x-axis, here's the y-axis. I'm going to use just a little red marker here to illustrate this. So the point negative 2, 2 would be something like this. So if I'm drawing a vertical line through that, and knowing what a vertical line is, to get the equation of that line, we want to ask ourselves two questions. What axis is it crossing? It's crossing the x-axis. Where's it crossing? Well, remember, this is the point negative 2, 2. So that's the x value that's going to correspond with where this crosses. So the equation of the line is x is equal to negative 2. And that's all you need to do. Now, a lot of people try to teach you to do that just by remembering all these facts, but I always find it a little easier to replicate and to build from my understanding of it to go from there. I'm going to go to number 10. Number 10 works similar, but is a little different. If you want to pause the video to see if you can try to knock that one out in a similar fashion or use another method you may be more comfortable with, you go ahead. Otherwise, I will continue. All right, so in this one here, I'm going to go ahead and draw my picture again with the x-axis and the y-axis. And I'm going to put the point 1, 2 on here, so it's going to look something like this. Since it's going to be a horizontal line that I want to put this through, my line is going to look something like this. And since it's crossing the y-axis, it's going to be y equals to something. Well, what's the y coordinate? It's 2. So it's going to be the equation of the line y equals 2. because that is the y coordinate, y portion of the coordinate. So the equation that lands has to be y equals 2. Okay. So here, let's see, we have a few others. We've done some questions like this already. I think we'll probably just have time. Here's my time to make this for maybe 1 or 2 more. It says find the equation of a line described. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. So we've already had a lot of practice with this. Now, of course, this one with the fractions, the number 11, looks pretty ugly. I'm probably not going to do that because I want you guys to focus on how you, more on the technique than the fraction work, which you can do with your calculator. Let's go ahead and take number 12 as the last question we're going to do in this video for section 6.5. I've done quite a few of these questions already. So let's find the slope-intercept form of a line whose slope is 2 and that passes through the point 8, 9. So we're given y equals mx plus b. We're given that m is equal to 2, and we're given, for this point here, that x is equal to negative 8, and that y is equal to 9. So I'm going to go ahead and put that information into here. So I'm going to have 9 is equal to 2 times negative 8 plus b. We'll move this up just a little bit here. So that'll be 9 is equal to 16 plus b, negative 16. If I move the 16 to the other side, that's going to be 16 plus 9 is equal to b, or b is equal to 25. Well, if I now know the value of b, and I know the value of the slope, I can go ahead and write this out now with these values in here to get y equals 2x plus 25. And this is the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Now, we've done a number of examples of that by writing equations in slope-intercept form before we've written them in a standard form. So I think we've shown enough here. That'll conclude the video for section 6.5. 6.6 will come up soon.